occasionally a couple, but there have also been many who've used it as a springboard to success, as Stuart mentioned just a couple of years ago. Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho, arguably Manchester United's best two players this season. Youth Cup winners at Old Trafford down the road a couple of years ago. So here we go. Both clubs have needed extra time to get this far. A fabulous run. Who's going to have the trophy a couple of hours from now? Jaden Heskey kicks off at senior level. Dad came through there too. Now, Obafwodo on the charge. Just a little behind Ndala, but he controlled it really well, making light of it. Tight angle.
Obafwodo didn't quite get his pass right, did he? But he can drive from midfield, as you just saw there. Went past the challenge of Crew. Getting slightly behind Ndala. Step over.
Wilson, Foden the outliers. Heskey, nice layoff. This is really well moved. Alpha Ruprecht fed it across. That would have been a lovely goal.
And it's all started by Simpson Pusey. That's what I was talking about before the game. He's a really good player coming out with the ball. Lovely left foot, driving forward here. Looks like he's running down an alley. Just plays a little 1-2 with Heskey. Right ball out wide. And Ruprecht was just trying to play it in first time. Heskey couldn't quite get there, but really good play from the centre-back.
Mukasa, first time ball was brilliant. So was the dummy. The cross slightly less so, and it's hacked clear.
Brilliant forward play. Mafuni was the player that looked as though he was going to cross with his left foot and then chopped it back onto his right here. Really good bit of skill. He stays on his left and he's just played it straight into the goalkeeper.
The under-19 group, as they were for Europe. Alpha Ruprecht onside, offside. He's finished it well enough. But, Leeds defenders were already looking. Really strong from Obafwodo, not on target.
Well, you can see what he was looking to do, just wrap his foot round it with his left foot. Bend it into that far corner. Crew was beaten a bit too easily on that occasion.
Hady, straight into Crew, and straight out to McDonald. Promise here, one-on-one with Henderson Hall. McDonald pulls it back. Can't ask for more than that. You can't believe there's not a pink shirt on the end of it. It's threaded right between the lot of them. Obafwodo with Alpha Ruprecht outside him. Will he cross this time, first time? Yes, he will. And it was dangerous right on cue. Heskey in there again. Dare I say it? Dad would have headed that in.
Yeah, lovely little ball. Ruprecht just finding the right cross. I think the defender might do well in the end. Peter White just about got into a position where he made... Lane needs to get the other side of Heskey to stop the ball being played into his feet.
Maybe even the flick on if it's airborne. That's where it's coming, right in towards him. And it doesn't quite sit for Alpha Ruprecht. And Funi keeps it running, and then Heskey has tried to hook it in. An awkward height and an awkward finish to match. 44 played, 0-0 in the Youth Cup final.
Well, I think he should do better there. He didn't show enough conviction. Here's the first ball played in, and I'm talking about he should get a little flick on there, Heskey. There's the volley. Watch when it comes to it. If he leans away from it and really gets over the top of it, he tries to use the inside of...
To the first of 2 added minutes, and here is Alpha Ruprecht, the regular outlet that at the moment has not quite delivered. Ndala the other side, equally busy. Obafwodo moves it on. Henderson Hall, that's worth a hit. And it's a decent hit.
I think he's suggesting there was a little deflection there. Ruprecht had the first chance. This is the second one. Dala this time picking out a good pass to the edge of the box. It's helped on. Could have played it out wide, but he tried to just almost cut across the ball here. Henderson Hall.
Richards with a pass to himself. He's done well. It's a bit of a blind alley, but at least he's won his side of throw. And just as we hit 47 minutes, Leeds right back is down. And indeed, that is half-time. Big pressure, big prize. Maybe that's bringing big caution here, because it's not been a half of many chances. Jaden Heskey's had counter. It's quite often the centre forward, isn't it, who misses out if you're ceding ground and possession. These two sides have scored a lot of goals. Never mind shots. No alteration in personnel from either coach at the break. That's a well-timed pass. And a really good shot, matched by the save. Oh, it's an own goal. Obuwodo in there with the ball cannoning around. It's a little bit unlucky, but this final has its first goal. And let's see how Leeds respond. Manchester City in front.
Well, that's exactly the start that Man City wanted to this second half. A bit more dynamism. It's good play down that right-hand side. There's the first shot. And I think it may bounce off Richards. It may bounce off the man who's, I think, scored it, Obuwodo. Yeah, it comes off Obuwodo in the end. It's his initial shot. Good save, as you mentioned, by Mahadi, but he followed it up really well and quickly. Although he took his touch into the defender then played it back off him. And I think we'll see from this angle, it just looks as though it is his goal.
Look at that, the weight of pass from Noble. That's brilliant. That's incisive football. And suddenly it's a comfortable lead for Manchester City. They got a few fingers on the FA Youth Cup now. Jaden Heskey with the tap-in on a plate. That was slick.
I have to say, Noble has been brilliant playing out from the back. We saw him run forward 30-40 yards beforehand and play a crossfield pass. This time he goes forward and picks out the perfect weighted pass in behind the fullback for the run. Just opens up. Toulson started to go out to Ruprecht. Sees the space, plays the ball, brilliant pass, and also a very good cross. Wastes no time in getting in there, and Heskey had made the run between the two centre-halves. He realised the danger, but what a pass this is from Noble. He really does look a good centre-back, I have to say.
The absolute antithesis of what they were doing in the first half. That's back to front in no time. And when you move it, now they can't just sit Leeds and maybe do the kitchen sink for the last 10 minutes. It's a 2-goal deficit, it's a different feel, and they've had a shot. It's a long way out, and it's a fairly long as here. It's done well. Here's Richards. Vincent is in the middle, and Douglas is joining him. Richards still going, and Chambers took a touch on the way through.
Yeah, that was going a long way wide, but it almost took it back towards the goal there. But good play. Chambers started it with a switcher play. Richards getting forward, as you've mentioned. He just looked as though he'd opened it up for himself, but was stretching with his left leg to get the shot away. Oh, just come off the goal.
And still, what a perfectly timed challenge from Richards. Probably shouldn't have been given the chance. Simpson Pusey giving him the eyes where he wants it. Let's do as the captain tells you. Lukasa nearly fell for him as well. And there's no ball! It was looping in anyway. City have made sure. And Fooney for 3-0. And surely the cup belongs to Manchester City now.
Well, I think it was going in. But he just made sure, didn't he, the left back. And Fooney. It was a Good delivery to start with. Leeds didn't defend it particularly well, and I said that when they played against Leeds. Defending at set plays, against Millwall should I say, defending at set plays wasn't good. And they just kept the pressure on here. There's the first ball into the box, it's not cleared. There's the header that looked as though it was going in. And Fumi was onside, as you can see, makes the late run. It was going in, but he just heads it over the line. Certainly not offside. Noble it was with the first header, and Fumi with the second.
It's definitely going to head in, isn't it? I'm sure Keir Noble... A miracle.
Just looking at the difference between the two teams, just hang on here while they put this attack down.
Casa wants a bit of glory. Long way off.
He's right to shoot, but just gets underneath it.
That's awkward. It's the first proper save of any note, really, for True Grant.
It was a good delivery. Man City really should be marking the zone or in the space in front of the first player that's going for it. There is the header. Toulson, the player that gets his head on it. He's now playing in Spain.
Curled in low. Without too much jeopardy, as it turns out. Break on. 3v3 or thereabouts. Warhurst will want his moment, and he's got it. Manchester City's top scorer in the youth team, only getting a cameo tonight, but he's got his name on the score sheet at the Etihad. It's Manchester City 4, Leeds 0, and he took that brilliantly.
That's the sign of a good goal scorer. When he picked up the ball here, he wasn't thinking about too many other things than driving past the defender, getting into an area where he could go and score his goal. Gets himself up off the floor, 1v1. Richards is the defender. He's trying to wait and wait for other defenders to get back, takes it to the side, gets his shot away, and he goes into exactly the right area. In fact, the only area where he could score here. Back across the goalkeeper. Lovely finish from Warhurst, the substitute, really good.
And there's no way Ndala's getting the pass there. His England under-17 strike colleague going solo and finishing really well.
Be more dynamic, the things we were asking in the first half.
Warhurst into Heskey. Heskey onto Ndala. He went for the roof, which is probably the only place you could go from that angle, actually.
He actually took a little bit too long here. If he just sweeps it to the side now and gets his shot away, but allowed defenders to come across.
Chambers now to the final minute of stoppage time. Still a Leeds goal for their travelling support to enjoy here. Chambers crowded out. Surely he's got to hit it. Grant was diving. The Crew just off target.
He changed his mind, didn't he? He was going to hit it with his laces and then decided to try and wrap his foot round it. Very, very close. Take a slight deflection. Just have done. Well, looks such a threat at set plays. And short on this occasion.
Charlie Crew has time. And Captain Toulson heads it straight at True Grant. Leeds finish on the attack, but they have been well beaten here. Absolutely a match for Manchester City for the first 45, but not at all in the second. Ben Wilkinson and his boys, FA Youth Cup winners. The goals began very early in this second half, Stuart Robson, and they came with regularity right through until Warhurst with the fourth.
Well, Wodo with that first goal, that changed everything. It meant that Man City could play with a bit more freedom. It caused Leeds all sorts of problems. We saw their strength, their pace, their ability to find passes. I thought the two centre-halves were excellent. You look through this Man City side, every one of them are technically brilliant, but also good tactically. Got some good players. And Ndala probably had a slightly indifferent game. Got a bit of stick off his manager, but overall, worthy winners. Manchester City, FA Cup Youth winners 2024.
4 goals from 4 different scorers in this second half. It's the 4th time the club have done it, but they've done it at the Etihad Stadium, which brings its own little bit of special club history. And Fooney there, nipping in to steal number 3.